Okay, in the last video, we just decided that we're going to submit a PR to Livewire. And before I do that, actually, there's one more thing I want to do just to make sure I'm not doing work that doesn't need to be done. I'm going to look at the existing pull requests. Now, there's 5 open right now. Understand open source maintainers have a lot of work to do, and sometimes PRs can sit out here for a while. You can see one is from quite a while ago, and now there's an issue with it. But there are a bunch of PRs here, and don't feel bad if you submit a pull request and it doesn't get reviewed for weeks or even months. If it's months, you might want to reach out and nudge the maintainer, but these guys are busy, so don't feel bad. But basically, I don't see a pull request here that addresses the issue that I'm planning to address. So everything's good. I'm going to go ahead and move forward. So let's go back to the repository. I need to fork it. So I'm just going to click here. You could also do this through a command line, but for me, it's easier through the GitHub UI. For you, that's probably the same. Okay, so now I have a forked project, and I just need to pull this down to my own computer. What I want to do is download this to my computer, also set up a brand new Laravel application, and then get my local version of this package installed onto that local version of a new, fresh Laravel app. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to clone this into my local on my local machine. So I'm going to go to my terminal, go to git clone, and do this. Okay, so now I have this here in my local, and I also want a brand new Laravel 6 application, which is the latest as of this recording. And that's really important because you want to make sure that when you're testing this locally, you're doing it on kind of a fresh application. Some people might want to use existing projects that they, are building, their own apps, but you never quite know, like, is your app the same? Do you have something in your app that might be different from most people's apps? And then when you're working on this code, maybe it works for you, but it doesn't work for other people, or maybe it doesn't work for you, but it would work for generally everyone else. So I like to, when I'm working on a PR for a open source package, to always just test it against a fresh install of Laravel. So I'm going to do that now. We're just going to do a Laravel new. We'll say fresh Laravel and get this pulled down. So I'm using Laravel Valet. If you're not familiar with that, you can look that up. But basically, I should be able to go to my browser now and go to fresh laravel.test. And there we go. So there's my brand new fresh instance of Laravel. So I'm going to go into my IDE and open fresh Laravel. And the other thing I need to open is Livewire. So I'm going to open, and I just pulled Livewire down as well. So let's go ahead and do that in a new window. So we're going to have 2 projects here. I don't want you to get confused. So we've got Livewire pulled down, and so let's go into that repository here. So the first thing I do want to do is do a composer install. And this is important. The first thing I'm going to do when I pull it down is run the tests. I want to make sure that everything is working on the code that I just pulled down. In almost every case, you're going to find that the tests all pass. If one of the tests is not passing, you're going to want to know that before you make any changes, because I would assume if the test is not passing that I broke it. So let's just make sure that we test this. So we're going to type .vendor bin php unit. It's going to run the test suite, and everything works great here. So I know I have a working build, and now I just need to get this symlinked into my local project. So let's go ahead and go over to PHP Storm. And so this is the Livewire project that we just reviewed, and now I've switched over to my fresh Laravel. And what I want to do here is open my composer.json file. And what I need to do is get Livewire into this project, but I don't want the Livewire from GitHub or from Packagist. What I want is the one that's on my local machine. So what I do need to do is add a repositories object here. And all I need to do is add a couple of, I need a type, which is a path. And I need a URL, and this URL is going to be /livewire. Now this is, again, in this same, let me bring up my Finder here. This is my fresh Laravel. This is Livewire, the package I want. So we're just going to go into the package where this fresh Laravel is sitting, go up one directory, and grab Livewire. And then all we have to do is require Livewire, which is livewire/livewire here. Now, the thing is we don't want to do something like the current version is somewhere around 0.5.0. If I do that, again, it's going to go get it from Packagist. We want to symlink what we have in our local machine here. So what I'm going to do is type dev master, and this should work. So now let me get out of Livewire and cd into fresh Laravel. And I'm going to do a composer update. Now I have an issue with my composer.json, so let's go back and fix that. Everything looks good here. It's probably somewhere down here. Oh, and I have an issue with my repositories. This needs to do that. Okay, so there we go. That was my problem. Now I'm going to try again. We're going to composer, here, let's refresh, composer update. So now if this works, which I believe it will, we're gonna see that we've symlinked Livewire. Again, I've mentioned it twice already, but I wanna say it again. We want to make sure that the Livewire on our local machine is the one that we're using in this project. And you can see that right here. So we installed Livewire from our local repository. So now let's just test that and make sure that everything's working, and we'll be good for this video. So let's go here. All right. You may not know a lot about how Livewire works, but I'm just going to go to PHP Storm and actually go to my terminal and do a PHP artisan make Livewire. We're going to just make a counter, and there we go. I'm going to say no here. And if we go back to PHP Storm, we can see there's now a Livewire counter right here. So this means that we have Livewire installed correctly. And as we saw before, it is symlinked from our current local package. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how I can make some updates and show that those are reflecting here in this fresh Laravel project.